that I always receive on my fitnagram. Right? Yes, it's a fitnagram. Wallahi alladhi la ilaha ghayruh. The common questions, pornography, how do I overcome it? I'll come on to the other two inshallah ta'ala. My brothers and my sisters, give this a try and then send me your success story so I can quote in the next program. Enough brothers have tried it. Walillahi alhamdu wal minna. Alhamdulillah, they are in a better place. If you are addicted to a particular sin, every time you fall into that sin, get up, make wudu, pray 2 rak'at. This is heavy on the shaitan. Every time you do it. Yes, it looks like a burden, but try it and then see where you end up. It's only a matter of time. When you keep showing Allah Azza wa Jal that I want to change, that I want to become better. Shaykh Mustafa earlier spoke about some of the conditions of tawbah. I don't care if you've fallen into that sin 100 times. Every time go and do it. Right? And see where you end up. It's only a matter of time, my brothers and my sisters, that inshallah ta'ala you will find yourself in a better place. Whatever secret sin it might be. Right? If also you are carrying out these secret sins, be someone who has secret acts of ibadat. Ibn al-Qayyim rahmatullahi alayhi, he talks about this, right? He even brings a line of poetry in his, I believe, Ad-Da' wa Dawa, the spiritual sickness and the cure. He says, ذُنُوبُ الْخَلَوَاتِ سَبَبٌ لِانْتِكَاسَاتِ وَعِبَادَةُ الْخَلَوَاتِ سَبَبٌ لِلثَّبَاتِ. The dhunub, the sins that you do in private, is a big reason why you will go astray, why you will fall off the religion. And righteous acts of worship that you do in private is a huge reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will keep you firm. No one knows about that 2 rak'at that you are now praying because of that sin. You've just followed up that private sin with a private act of worship. See what happens. Even that wudu, no one knows why you're making wudu. It's not even a salah time, right? You went into the bathroom, you made wudu and you came out and you're praying 2 rak'at in your room. Right? Also try to go through some of the effects of sins, brothers and sisters. There's a kitab called Ad-Da' wa Dawa, the spiritual sickness and its cure. Our Shaykh Abdul Razak al-Badri taught us this kitab in the Prophet's masjid. It honestly changed my perspective in how I look at problems. It really, really has. Right? It lists the effects of sins. One of them is, my brothers and my sisters, right, that you're going to drop in the eyes of the people. Did you know that? When you carry out sins in private and you have a very good reputation in the eyes of the people, or maybe in your community or in your family, right? You do these private sins, all of a sudden you dropped. Why? Because of the private sins. Ibn al-Jawzi rahmatullahi alayhi, he said, رَأَيْتُ أَخْوَامًا مِنَ الْمُنْتَسِبِينَ إِلَى الْعِلْمِ أَهْمَلُوا نَظَرَ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ فِي الْخَلَوَاتِ. I came to know about people who ascribe themselves to knowledge. Imagine people who study, shuyukh and so on and so forth. They stopped being conscious of Allah watching them in private. So what did Allah do to them? فَمَحَا مَحَاسِنَ ذِكْرِهِمْ فِي الْجَلَوَاتِ. Allah caused the good things that are mentioned about them in public to diminish, to disappear. فَكَانُوا مَوْجُودِينَ كَالْمَعْدُومِينَ. Them being present is like them being absent. It's like they weren't there anymore. لا حلاوة لرؤية ولا قلب يحنو إلى لقائهم. There was no sweetness in meeting them. The heart stopped yearning for them. All of a sudden now you are looked at differently in your community or amongst the people that loved you before. And there are many. I've got a lecture on my YouTube channel. It's called The Effects of Sins. Right? Consequence of sins. حرمان الرزق. Being deprived of provision. Money. Did you know, my brothers and my sisters, that the sins that we carry out has a direct correlation with our financial status? What's my evidence for it? When the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إِنَّ الرَّجُلَ لَيُحْرَمُ الرِّزْقُ بِخَطِيَةٍ يَعْمَلُهَا. One is deprived of provision because of the sin that he carries out. You know the Arabs, they have a saying. You know what the saying is? الَّذِي يُصَاحِبْ يَفْقَرُ. الَّذِي يُصَاحِبْ يَفْقَرُ. The one who has haram relationships, he's going to become bankrupt. The one who has haram relationships, he's going to become bankrupt. There are so many different weak narrations as well, that how zina has a direct impact on your financial situation. You know, brothers and sisters, I receive a lot of messages of brothers struggling with pornography on Instagram, saying, I have this issue, I have that issue, I'm become addicted, ila akhirih. And I can just say, just about every single message that I receive of someone who's struggling with pornography, he always writes in that message, I'm struggling financially as well. Just about every message. Are you brothers and sisters with me? One of the many common questions that people tend to pose today, especially on social media, I'm addicted to pornography. I'm addicted to watching that which is haram. You go back to the UK, just about everything around you has been sexualized. Fitna is everywhere. So when someone poses a question like that, it really isn't surprising anymore. Wallahi brothers, I'm not going to sit here and talk as if it's easy to just lower your gaze when walking, especially on the streets of London. Wallahi, my heart hurts. Especially in the summer, I dread it. However, if we just tweak the way we think and we began to look at some of the problems and challenges and obstacles we're going to face in this dunya because of these sins, wallahi, we may reach a point where we just have no option except to stop. Our sins, brothers, if we don't make tawbah from it, it will come back to haunt us sooner or later. And the only thing that is going to fulfill you spiritually is to have that connection with your Creator.